UCLA back-to-back, do you figure if you want to get where you want to go, this is going to be a crucial stretch going?
Oh, I don't remember looking at it. When you look at your schedule, you kind of look at how the games fall, and I probably noticed the 5 of 7 on the road, but didn't really notice back-to-back, and now it comes up, and it is a tough stretch for us. USC's playing well, UCLA's playing well. We come home and face two teams that are trying to get in the tournament, in Utah and Colorado, and then we got to go to the Bay Area. So, yeah, it's a very difficult stretch for us. We're going to have to play awfully well, and it's an old cliche, but we do have to take them one game at a time because it's just a difficult stretch, and you can't look at all the games. You just got to look at the next one.
Can having a sustained stretch of tough games in a row like this benefit you guys on in March, where you guys are going to have to be on for 3-4 weeks at a time?
Yeah, it doesn't hurt. You've got to play, and everybody's in the middle of their conference season, and so probably the most difficult part of it is the 5 on the road. But we faced it before. I think just 2 years ago we had it, and 3 years ago I think we had 5 of 7 at home to end. So it's just the way the schedule falls. And this particular year, Arizona has already gone and won those games that we've got to win. UCLA's in a pretty good position because I looked at their schedule this morning. They've got 5 of 7 at home. So it's just the way the schedule falls, and we've got to go play.
After playing at such a high level against Arizona, how do you guys make sure you can travel with that same kind of confidence on the road?
We've got to play with that purpose and that focus that we did. The shots falling, we can't probably control as much as we can the communication that we showed defensively, our effort on the boards, the balance we played with. Those are the things we have a little more control over. So I would hope that our communication would continue to be good defensively. Hopefully we'll hit some shots because that's always a big part of the night, and especially on the road to keep some energy going. The real elite teams, they fight through that. And so if we're going to be a good team, we're going to have to fight through not shooting it well a few times here for sure. You just don't shoot it well every night. So whether it's the next 7 games or in the conference tournament, you've got to fight through nights where you don't shoot it well.
Is there much difference in UCLA this time around than going into them last time? Or anything on film that stands out?
Not really. They're still scoring. Great offensive team. I think their defense has improved. Welsh is back and playing. He was out before he played us the first time. So, no, they're a really good team, and offensively as good as we will face. And so we're going to have to play well defensively. Our communication is going to have to be great. Transition D is going to have to be better than it's been. So we definitely have our work cut out for us. There's no doubt about that.
If you have your way, will this matchup be more lower scoring than the one here?
Don't really care. We need one more point. Whether it's high scoring, low scoring, I don't care. If we have to grind one out, great. I think we scored 89, 87 last time, so it doesn't really matter.
You do have confidence in your guys' ability to keep up if it's attractive, though. I mean, they obviously want to score a lot of points to get up and down.
The stats wouldn't prove that. They shoot a better percentage from the field. They shoot a better percentage from the 3. So on paper, we're a better defensive team. So we would hope that it would tilt that way a little bit.
The first term, I think you guys had advantage in transition points against them, which not many teams have had.
Yeah, we had a good night offensively, especially the first half. Second half, it wasn't quite as good. We didn't shoot it as nearly as well. But we did have a good offensive game that night.
You talk about the communication on defense, obviously kind of acts like that 6th defender out there. On the road, that's a lot harder to bring. How do you guys make sure that you can keep that communication audible, I guess?
It's not really harder to bring. It's focus and energy. You can talk on the road as well as you can at home. So, our guys, just have to have that same focus, and that same intensity. But defense is something that can travel. You got to have the energy and the focus to do it.
Before that Arizona game, you told the team it's a must-win game. Given everyone's schedules going forward, is that going to be a common message before all your games the rest of the way?
If we want to win the league, it is. I just, you don't like to predict how anybody else is going to do, but, Arizona's got a great schedule. And I just mentioned UCLA still has 5 of 7 at home, so, they're in the mix. Cal's in the mix, so if we have any idea of winning the league or thoughts of winning the league, I think we're probably going to have to win out. We're going to have to. Like I said, I don't want our guys looking ahead. It's obviously one game at a time, but we're going to have to play really well because of the way the schedule shifts.
Dylan Brooks talked a lot about trying to be more positive with each other on this team after that Arizona game. It was easy in the Arizona game because everyone was having a good time, but has that been something you've been trying to preach, is guys not harping on each other as much and trying to be more positive?
Well, I don't think they've been that bad. They need to stay positive with each other. All do the complaining, and they're supposed to, help their teammates out. And I tell them, all complain enough for all of you. You just need to help each other out. And they, for the most part, they've been really good. They get on each other a little bit, which is not bad. Getting after each other a little bit, but it carries a lot of responsibility with it. That's where why leadership is so hard, is because if you're going to lead, then you have to be accountable. If you're going to say something to somebody, you got to do it day in, day out for it to mean anything. And that's one of the tough things about leadership, is if you're going to be a really good leader, your consistency and your effort has to be there every day, for the guys to really take you seriously. You can't be a sometimes leader. You got to be there every day.
You always talk about that line of 10 games we're going to shoot it awesome, 10 will be average, 10 will be below average. But defense can be consistent. Is that the message that you've talked about a little bit here, but defense travels? Is that what you've been trying to hammer down these guys' throats?
Well, we've talked about it for 7 years. I'm not sure anybody's listened, but it is something that you can be a little more consistent with your defensive effort. For whatever reason, sometimes the ball just doesn't go in. You take good shots, your offense clicks, you jump up and it just doesn't go in. And sometimes you're not taking good shots. Sometimes it's your own darn fault. But a lot of times, the ball just doesn't go in for whatever reason. And but defensively, you can have that effort, you can have that communication that we talked about. You can block out and try to rebound in every game. So you just have a little bit more control over those areas. And we always talk to the guys, control what you can control. You can't control the officials, you can't control the crowds, you can't. Your job is to control what you can control. And defensive effort, defensive communication, those are things that you have a little more control over.
Talk a bit about what Chris Boucher has brought to the team these past couple of years.
He's meant a tremendous amount to us. There's absolutely no doubt about it. His ability to alter shots, change shots, block shots. He's given us a big lift offensively. Per minute, he's our best rebounder. So he's been really important to us last year. He saved us, and this year he's meant just as much to us. He's as I mentioned there, I think we got 7 starters, and those 7 guys rotate pretty well. And Chris has been really unselfish in everything he's done for the team, and no doubt he's been as important to our team as anybody.
Dana, it starts here in practice. What's been how they responded since Saturday's game with Arizona leading up to this weekend?
Well, we took Sunday off, and then yesterday we watched film and lifted weights and had a light day. We'll practice hard today. We'll go in LA tomorrow pretty hard, and hopefully we'll go Thursday night.